Hey folks, happy Saturday morning rant. I'm late as fuck. Sorry about that. There's a big old conference in New York, in case y'all don't know. Actually, somebody from Detroit texted me, was like, yo, I'm in New York. I was like, yo, you at this conference? He's like, no, but your city stinks. I was like, yeah, New York kind of stinks these days. But there's a conference happening in New York, and it's called the Beyond the Bars Conference. It's the 9th annual Beyond the Bars Conference. But y'all know I ain't here to promote no motherfucking conference. Y'all know how the fuck I feel about conferences. Y'all know how I feel about conferences. Conferences are like bad fucking, like at least non-profit conference. I mean, people go to conferences because that's what you do, right? Like you use company money to get people together. You get a trip to another state. I'm all down with all that shit, actually. Like, people work so fucking hard in non-profit that a trip to another state to chill and hang out, especially New York. Y'all know how I love New York. I think that's not a bad thing. But other than that, conferences are like bad fucking Tinder dates. Like, you spend hours listening to boring fucking speech, pretending to like give a fuck. And in the end, you're just like, why the fuck did I even show up here? So at least if you go do a conference, like, call it what the fuck it is. And this is like billed as an abolitionist conference. And I think y'all know how I feel about purists, absolutists, abolitionists. They was the biggest fucking problem when I was doing my work to reduce mass incarceration or whatever. Like, just heavy-handed, punitive motherfuckers in my experience. But the truth is, like, maybe you should have held a conference not at Columbia University. If you're gonna get 1,000 people to New York for a conference, maybe you hold that shit at the foot of the bridge to Rikers Island or some shit. I mean, the truth is, like, Columbia University has done more to steal real estate from poor people than Donald Trump ever will. So, like, if you're gonna hold a conference, like, maybe, you know, think about the venue and shit, because I think if you'd have did that shit at the foot of Rikers, like, the mayor would have had to be like, yo, what the fuck? Why the fuck is there 1,000 people standing outside of Rikers saying this place needs to close the fuck down? So, you know, that's my little piece of advice, and I know y'all love my advice and how much y'all take it into account. I mean, I assume that's why I'm not even invited to your fucking conference, but I really hope that people love the trip to New York, have a really good time, and I just suggest you change the venue. So the beauty of this conference, though, that happens every year is that I actually get to see people I like, and I don't have to pay for it. Like, somebody else pays for them to come to New York. So I like that shit. I've had coffee and meetings and dinners with like 11 people in the last like 36 hours. And I'm super choosy about who I fuck with to begin with. So y'all know I'm only like meeting up with people I really fucking dig. And, you know, I was like, as I was listening and talking to people, I was like, yo, what's the common factor with these people that I'm even willing to, like, give my time to and engage with? Like, what am I looking for? And, like, the words that came up for me to describe these people is courageous, forgiving, wise, vulnerable, strategic, truthful, humble. Like, every single person I met with exemplifies all of those values, and that's the theme. That seems to be the theme with the people that I like to fuck with. And there was a theme that developed amongst them that I want to share on my rant. And the theme was like, these are people that are like salt of the fucking earth, doing good work. And I'm not saying they always get it right, but what the fuck? If they always got it right, they wouldn't be humans. They'd be fucking robots. Nobody gets it right all the time. But these people are like doing the work from the right place for the right reasons with the right values. And for the rest of this rant, like, imagine I'm talking about advocacy, organizing, activism, and not necessarily research and think tanks and some of the sort of less assertive ways to approach ending mass incarceration, the less, you know, aggressive ways. Can a black man say aggressive ways? So just use that lens for the rest of my conversation here. But the theme amongst these people, primarily women, was their displeasure with the criminal justice reform movement right now and how it's being led. I mean, they talked about leaders, nonprofit leaders, who are like punitive, egotistical, self-centered, money hungry, insensitive, not really building a second bench of leadership. And I'm not even gonna say, like, normally I'd be like, yeah, it's white women. It ain't all white women. Like, and like, we 10 years out from that. Like, there's lots of directly impacted people leading organizations now And it is so easy for like the oppressed to become the oppressor. And much of the conversation, to my dismay, but lining up with my experience, is that there's a lot of formerly incarcerated leaders out there that have become part of the motherfucking problem because they've elevated into leadership. They have access to a tremendous amount of resources. They have funders that see them as the poster child and is giving them a shitload of money. And now they become part of the problem. And like nobody is really saying it out loud. Why? Because it almost seems like everybody who has that experience with them either thinks they're the only one experiencing it, or that there's a price to pay if they speak out loud. And the last one is just mad true. Like, I know that if you speak truth to power in the nonprofit space, you will get fucking punished. I think that's why I don't get invited to these fucking conferences. Because y'all know I'm going to speak the truth. And not the truth that my funders want to hear. Not the truth that my board wants to hear. Not the truth that even my staff wants to hear. Not the truth that even just the audience, the kind of truth that makes us all feel uncomfortable as a motherfucker. That's why y'all ain't invite me to speak at your conferences. Because I'm probably going to talk shit about you too. But movements need that shit. Like, movements need to like have fresh perspective and be critical of itself. And there just ain't enough voices out there doing that. And the ones I connected with while they were here in New York so far, I still got like 10 more meetings. But the ones I already connected with, like they're not in the most senior leadership roles. They're in like mid-level management or just coming out of prison a year or two ago. But they see y'all. They see right through y'all. They see the bullshit. But let's pull the lens back even further. Because the truth is, when you build like literally by definition, when you build a nonprofit, you apply to the motherfucking IRS for permission to build some shit that's sanctioned, governed, monitored by the government, that you trying to tell me you're going to use as a vehicle to take on the government that you just despise. You're going to ask them for permission to build some shit to get them to behave differently. You only gonna get us so far that way. Like, let's just be honest about that shit. Like, that's why y'all are so gung-ho, yelling, screaming about changing the world. Because y'all know, like, inside of a nonprofit, you got dependency on donors, you got limited resources, your efforts are fucking fragmented, you're, like, reinforcing existing power structures because the people who fund your organizations literally are the motherfuckers who have benefited from the systems you say you want to dismantle. You're risk averse because nonprofits engage in fucking groupthink and end up in the business of protecting themselves. In fact, the more successful nonprofits are, the more people tethered to it are like, I don't want this shit to go away. Either because it feeds their ego, feeds their pride, or feeds their family. You got limited accountability. Nonprofits say they got accountability, but it's not accountability. It's a lot of fucking punitiveness. But ain't much accountability. There's no reason to evolve. None of them got natural predators, so they ain't got to evolve. You just got to maintain. So they got all these reasons why literally you're limited by even having a nonprofit as some kind of vehicle to make change. And then there's just like institutional inertia. It's almost like the bigger you get, the more successful you are, the less you want to do anything that's going to fuck that up. And then the ones that get co-opted. Like, that was one of the biggest lessons for me as a young advocate, was like fighting against the mayor, fighting against the governor, scoring a win, and then looking up the next day and finding out that half my motherfucking team is sitting on the mayor's fucking advisory board. What, motherfucker? Like, what? I thought we was rolling together. I thought this motherfucker was the enemy, the opposition. Like, literally, just because he said out his mouth he gonna do some shit, you now on his team, and in the end he ain't do shit? Come on, y'all. But that's nonprofit shit. Co-opted by the system. And then just finally, like, lack of structural analysis. Most nonprofits ain't got no meaningful structural analysis, don't understand power, don't understand power dynamics, don't understand intersectionality, don't understand how race, gender, class, sexuality, and all of that, like, comes together and creates, like, intersecting systems of power that are complex and create these unequal societal hierarchies that make sure that power remains exactly where it is. Like, if you don't have a critical level of analysis, and I don't mean the rah-rah progressive left, I put it on a t-shirt, look at me, I'm woke analysis. I mean some real shit, like the kind of analysis that comes from people who literally have grown up in fucking systems that have served to crush them and their families and their lives and their dreams and their hopes. Those people have an analysis that may not be delivered the way you like your analysis delivered, but they got a critical analysis. They got a worthwhile analysis. They got a valuable analysis. And those are the kind of people I fuck with. Those are the kind of people I hung out with over the last 36 hours. Those are the people I fuck with. So what do you do if you are trying to do the right thing? So that I'm not just here bitching, not just here complaining. I'm not the dude that don't need none of your money, none of your accolades, none of your stages, none of your microphones. And I'm just outside on the bench bitching about it. And you ain't giving no good support on what I'm going to tell you what the fuck you could do. I'm going to tell you what the fuck I would do if I was in it. First of all, I would critique the dominant motherfucking narrative. Like either you fucking frame something or you fucking get framed. Either you're the one fucking creating the narrative or someone else is and you trying to play in the middle of someone else's story. Good luck with that. Centering marginalized voices. Like no one's going to be surprised. People closest to the problem are closest to the solution, but often furthest from power and resources. And I know sometimes people closest to the problem are the motherfucking problem. That's what I said at the beginning of this. But for the most part, centering marginalized voices is the way to figure out how to build the most power to undo systems that are oppressive. Building solidarity and coalitions. I don't mean the kind of solidarity and coalitions where you get a grant and you sub-grant it to 5 organizations and y'all motherfuckers build trust until the money runs the fuck out. Not that kind of coalition. Not that kind of solidarity. The kind of thing where all fucking ships rise together and all of us crash and burn together. And we okay with that because we've been there. We know what the fuck is like and we good with going back there if we need to go back there to get some shit done. Disruption. You got to disrupt some shit. If you ain't disrupt, that's the thing about these nonprofit. I used to tell my team, I used to be like, yo, we gonna ride this shit till the wheels fall off. And they used to be like, the fuck that means? I'd be like, watch, the wheels gonna fall off this motherfucker. If the wheels ain't falling the fuck off, you ain't disrupting shit. You ain't resisting shit. You just talking to be talking and talking loud enough for white women in philanthropy to give you another 6-figure check. Be honest. Just be honest. You could be that, but be honest. Transformative justice and accountability. Don't fucking become the thing you say you hate. At the minute people get a little bit of motherfucking power, they literally become the fucking monster they say they hate. And people see you. The emperor has no fucking clothes on. You're fucking naked. People see you. People see you. People see you. The minute you sit on the motherfucking throne, you become this fucking mean-spirited fucking leader. People see that shit. Why? Because suddenly you're trying to protect the things you got. Suddenly you're trying to be the gatekeeper to the money, the gatekeeper to the power, the gatekeeper to the microphone, the gatekeeper to the stage, the gatekeeper to the television, the gatekeeper to the podcast. The fuck are you doing? Build a second bench of leadership, take your little accolades, take your bow, but actually you want to be most successful. The most successful you could be is to not worry about who the fuck is going to get the credit. Transformative justice and accountability, not just becoming the very thing you say you fucking hate. I'm just saying. Engage in some critical motherfucking consciousness. It took me 53 years to be as fucking wise as I am today, and I'm sure 5 years from now I'm gonna think I was fucking stupid today. Have the humility to recognize that what you learned today is probably gonna not be the truth tomorrow, but also have the humility to recognize that fucking some people are wiser than you, and that you can rely on that wisdom and you ain't got to discount that wisdom. And just because people who came before you might have made some motherfucking mistakes, that don't mean that they wasn't wise. Put their motherfucking activities and decisions in context, motherfucker. You're standing on the motherfucking shoulder and foundation of a motherfucker who came before you and fucked up. Don't wait till you fuck up to learn that lesson. I'm just saying. And then you got to build alternative visions. If you can't take people towards something, it's only but so long you could talk about how fucked up mass incarceration is. Because the truth is, the more you fucking talk about how fucked up mass incarceration is, the truth is, the less people think they could do any fucking thing about it. You got to create a vision of where the fuck we're all going together. You ain't got to do it at the beginning, but at some point, set the motherfucking vision. Show me what the fuck is on the horizon. I'm not going to follow you in the dark all the way into nothingness unless I understand where the fuck we're going together. And most of y'all who call yourself leaders don't have a fucking vision. You ain't got a vision for getting the fuck out of a paper bag. Like, have a fucking vision. Leaders fucking deal in hope. Give people some motherfucking hope. Tell them where the fuck we're going together. And then the last thing is fucking persistence. Like, y'all some giving up ass motherfuckers. Be persistent. Bring the fucking, like, bring the power. Power doesn't come from the top down. That's the illusion power wants to give you. Power only exists because people at the bottom and the middle allow power to exist. If you're in leadership and you don't get that, get the fuck out of leadership. That's number one. Number two, persistence. Yeah, you're going to get it wrong. Yeah, you're going to fuck it up. Yeah, this year you're going to fuck it up. You're not going to get it right. You're going to write the bill wrong. You're going to not do your analysis right. The senator who said they fucking with you going to stop fucking with you. The media story about the dude that cut somebody's fucking head off and put it in his fucking refrigerator is going to get in the way of you getting your bill passed. So fucking what? Develop some motherfucking courage and some motherfucking persistence and rally the motherfucking troops and take another motherfucking swing at it. And if your funder don't like it, fuck the funders. The funders fucking work for us. They work for us. They can't sit in that ivory tower. I don't care how much money they got. We don't work for them. They work for us. But some of you bitches out there are okay with fucking working for these funders and being the gatekeepers and taking the millions and telling the funders, don't worry about these niggas. I'm going to decide which ones of these niggas get the money. You got me. I'm going to protect you. I'm the loudest. Give me the money. Fuck you. You shouldn't be in leadership. But the people who know that's what's happening, and I know some of y'all know that's what's happening, sometimes you got to spend your capital. Like somebody said to me this morning, it was like, yo, I used to smoke crack in a fucking alley. What the fuck they going to do to me? And that's the attitude I think more y'all need to have. Otherwise, why the fuck would people closest to the problem need to be close to the solution if you ain't willing to spend your capital to get some shit done and you just want to become like the motherfuckers you say you hate? My rant is late, but I think it's spot motherfucking on, and I'm actually glad I did all these conversations this morning before I did my rant because it gave me exactly what the fuck I was going to talk about today. So now, all this shit off my chest. I'm not gonna let nobody else steal my rainbow. I might even go to the motherfucking conference. I'm lying, I ain't going up in no motherfucking conference. I might go outside, see some of my people. In the meantime, y'all have a great weekend. Don't let nobody steal your rainbow, and I'll see you next week. Peace.